Yeah. Sorry. La-di-da. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with this. So I should get on with it. Right, the truth of what is happening right now with everything. Including my videos. Why do I get so few views? Apart from not being, all fancy and can't even get me in the picture properly. Because I'm spitting the truth. And, hearing a piece of truth is going to hit you. And if you're not willing to take that truth on, it's going to hurt, rejecting that truth. And it's going to make you want to stop watching because I'm going to be spitting some more truths. And you don't want to hear it. I'm back, slick, slapping the light around, lifting our brothers' frown, making our sisters proud, believing, revealing, redreaming and redeeming. The new thing is feeling. The first, the last, humilify and exalt. The zigzag path to God. Yeah, I made that up. But the truth of what's happening in the world is that the evil is being uncovered. Because something happened in the spirit world and there was basically no bad guys left in the spirit world. So the people acting under the influence of this negativity were doing disgraceful things and getting away with it. And, doing things so sick that they would say to people observing them, who's going to believe you? You tell them this, who's going to believe you? Right? So now this is coming out. And it's coming out gradually. And people are beginning to realise that a large proportion of jobs and stuff that people do, like politicians, leaders, film stars and all the like, are finding out how some of them are very sordid, disgusting people. And this is good, and this is changing things, because people, say a famous person or a leader, lots of people are going to be thinking about these famous people or leaders. And people are going to have their own agendas. They're going to be willing, these people, these leaders, to do things, when something comes up. So that the leaders themselves will feel all of this. They'll feel everything that's being directed towards them. So what was my point? So think how they'll feel when people are discovering that they're sordid and disgusting people. That's not going to be pleasant. I mean, that's what PR has all been about, isn't it? Is to hype up the person. Is to make them out to be great. And then the feeling they get is just, worship from all the people. and the PR will wear off. So that's to see that play out, it's going to be very interesting. You know, how's Harvey Weinstein feeling? How is Damian Green feeling? When suddenly all this adoration turns to disgust. So, you know, if you want to put it biblically, we're seeing this sort of Antichrist uncovered in a sense. Not the Antichrist the man, if there is such a man, but the Antichrist thing. I thought I might be the Antichrist because, hey brother, because they say you're your own worst enemy. That's just a joke. So, if we're in that part of the Bible when the Antichrist is revealed, I can't remember it. I don't go too much on Revelations. I find there's interesting bits, but there's a lot of confusing bits. And it's just so much simpler just to feel. To feel, you have to get out of your mind. And a good way to do that, apart from smoking herb, a good way to get out of your mind is to see the fact that we exist, the fact that there's anything here is completely illogical. How did any universe begin? How did, and people say, oh, there was a thought. What if there was existence? But who was there to have the thought? So when you really sit down and think about that, yet you know you do exist, you can see and feel around you, there's things, but it's not logical. The brain can't really deal with it. The brain can't deal with infinity either. And that's a way to get out of your mind. And it can be a bit sort of uncomfortable. You get this point where you don't believe you should exist. You think you can almost think yourself out of existence. But then you realise, well, I am here. And that's our soul. That's when you start to feel your soul. And your soul is connected to God. It's part of the soul. So where else are we? What else is going on? Well, the earthquakes and volcanoes and floods is something different because that's very much caused by man-made stuff, but the rain is moving. I mean, Saudi Arabia is getting a lot of rain, which is odd. It's changing. But the earthquakes and volcanoes are fading out. They're dying down. We're starting to get calmer again. Calm, as in C-A-L-M, calm. You know, and as these bad people that a lot of people adore, are being shown up for what they are, you know, no better than the average man. They're perverts, they're lazy, they're greedy. But, you know, they've so far just had PR people to pick them up. So they've been able to carry on this sort of life while they continue to have lovely, warm feelings towards them. That is changing. So with that being revealed, our souls underneath, because in a sense our souls know the truth. So even though you might be thinking, oh, this is such a great person, I'm so glad they're working to help our country or whatever, your soul knows the truth. And as these things get revealed and the truth comes out, our souls will feel better, because this is the truth coming out. This is more in line with my gut feeling, even though for most people their soul is so buried they hardly know what's going on in there. But that's when all this law of attraction stuff kicks in, because if you're not aware of what's going on in your soul, things will happen in your life to help make you aware. And dreams and stuff. I mean, I had a dream last night, and I was somewhere, and I was outside nature, and suddenly this animal comes out of a bush. Animal comes out of a bush, and it's a lion. Now, it didn't look like a lion, but in my head is a lion, and I've had this thing for a while. One day I want to stroke a wild lion, and so I'm about to run away, and I think, no, hang on, all animals are God. You know, this is something I've wanted to do. I mean, it looked like a mottled coloured panther. It was a big cat, anyway. And as it came out of the bush, it was sort of, you know, and then saw me and froze, obviously, and I was about to run off, but then I thought, no, I'll stay. And as soon as I made that decision, I'll stay, the big cat sort of, you know, chilled too, and then it was just, I could just tell it was just chilled, and then that was the clearest bit I can remember. But then sort of later on in the dream, the big cat was around, and I think my son was around, and there may have been another one, and it just became this sort of, became normal. And I think, you know, this, to put it into context of what's going on today, because I do feel like we've completed a milestone. Well, me personally, because November the 30th was 20 years ago. November the 30th, that's when I had the most major sort of interaction with God in my life. In a sense, when I say major, because I've had more closer connections lately, that I was just so petrified, in the sense my heart nearly bounced out of my body. And that, you know, when I put it into context of my life, that was opening the 7th seal 20 years ago. and there was a quiet in heaven for half an hour. And if 1,000, anyway, a half an hour can be 20 years. So a day to 1,000 years, or a year to 1,000. I'm not quite sure now. I have worked it out. Anyway, that wasn't the point. So, and then, you know, in a dream I get to be friendly with a lion. And so this is a truth. We don't need to fear God. And I'm hoping that, you know, more and more people will really start to connect with God again. And it will be a very, very good thing. Yeah, I think that will do. Might do another one soon. Okay, bye.